Alright, this is a Homelite ST-145 string trimmer, and it runs great. I've had it for many years. I've put a few parts into it, but it just keeps going. Just recently I noticed the fuel prime bulb here has started to leak. I took a look at the website. That doesn't look like a part that I can just buy, but I'm suspecting it is a take apart and fix type thing. So I'm going to take it apart and see what it looks like and see if I can find a replacement part. So it looks like removing these two screws takes the whole carburetor off, which is good. Looking down the throat of this thing, it does look pretty clean. Okay. Few lines. There we go. And just going to do this. And get a good look at what this looks like inside. Did I get that loose or not? I did not. There we go. Should just grab a tiny Phillips, but I'm not gonna. This is what I've got, so use what you got. I bought this string trimmer well over 25 years ago. I've lived in this house. It's pretty clean inside. I've lived in this house for at least 25 years. I think it was just 25 years, or it's coming up next month. Let's try to get this out here. Yeah, you can feel it right there. There's a split. I don't know if you can see that or not in the rubber. So just pushing this in. I believe I can buy that product online, and I can probably get a bag of them. Wipe it off a bit here. I can probably get a bag of 10 of them for like a couple bucks, but I'm probably wrong. Given the way prices have gone up lately, that's probably a $10 part. I'm just kidding. It better not be. All right, let's measure it up. I'm assuming it's going to be a standard size. I'm assuming it's going to be metric. So, the flange itself, this is going to be very rough because it's rubber and it can squeeze. Looks like it's about 18.6 millimeters at the flange. At the rubber centerpiece, it is 15.48, and the inside dimension about 14.1, so I'm guessing that's called a 14 millimeter part. I'm going to go see what I can order up, and when I have a part, we'll come back. All right, one thing I discovered while I was looking at this before I went to order parts is the little tether in here. So there is a, if you can see it or not, there's a tiny little screw in here. I'm going to find a small Phillips here on my workbench, which I can't get my eye on right now. Here's a, looks like a bigger one. Probably too big. It's a number 2. Let's see if it goes in there. Oh, it just comes out just fine. So I'll remove that screw, and it'll make it a little easier to work on. That's for the push to stop button. I'll have to look at that, see if that's, I believe that was working, and it's just a plunger, so it should be pretty clean. I'm going to clean up a few of these parts too before we come back. It's pretty dirty. Thanks. I also measured the distance that this cable is sticking through there. So I got 11.75 millimeters from the outside of the collet to the end of the wire. So when I put it back together, I just set it for that, and the throttle should be set correctly. Welcome back. Parts have arrived. I bought a package of 10 of these. I think they're 14 or 19 millimeter primer bulbs off Amazon, and I thought they'd cost me a bunch, and they did. Not too bad. It was about $8 for 10 of them. I probably will never use all 10, but will use one today. So I did hold it up against the previous one, and it is basically a perfect fit. Same height, same width, about the same. It's a little bit harder plastic or rubber or nylon or whatever it's made out of, but again, this one's split, so in the junk it goes. I will grab my JIT screwdriver, or a different one, this one, and take these back off, and we'll put her back on. See how it runs. This is a really simple fix. It's kind of boring, I suppose, for people who have any mechanical ability. I just like to film these things and see if I run into any problems. So far, nothing unexpected has happened at all. Everything came apart. The barrels look clean. I always use non-oxygenated fuel, and I mix my own. There's other YouTube channels like Chicanic, great channel if you're looking for small engine repair stuff, and she does a great review on some of the fuel mixes that she runs into while working on different yard equipment. I don't do a lot of yard equipment, but I do some, so I have a couple of other small projects I'll probably film here in the next few months. Again, nothing earth-shattering at all. Why is this not going in? Okay, nothing earth-shattering at all about anything I'm doing here. But in case it helps somebody, that's just great. Oops, I dropped that. I'll be right back. I did notice one thing as I stepped away here for just a second. I dropped this down and it popped off again. And I had a little trouble getting it back on. It turns out that the dimensions on the primer bulb that I bought are very, very close, but just a little bit wider. So I had to, inside this area here, where the bulb goes over the plastic piece, I had not pushed it all the way down there. I had stuck it into the, I think I did it that way. I stuck it into the metal piece and pushed that on, so it wasn't clearing in one little spot, but it was my fault. It was just an alignment issue that I wasn't aware of, or a mechanical fit issue. So of course I don't have any torque specs on this. This is just a darling little Walbro carburetor. I've used Walbros for years and years on snowmobiles and other things. I don't know if they make them the same way or not. Like I said, this string trimmer is a Homelite ST-145, and I bought it probably in 1994, I'm guessing. Maybe earlier. I don't know, this is the first time I've really had it apart. Like I did mention, the key thing to keep them from turning all green and nasty inside is to use good fuel. I always use non-oxygenated, and I never leave fuel in them over the winter. fuel tends to gather moisture. So even if you let it sit for just a short amount of time, it'll absorb moisture, and you'll be able to see it if you siphon the fuel out. I always dry my two-stroke stuff out, run them dry. There is no bowl for fuel to be in. I run them dry and then I drain the bowls here. So first thing I do when I fill it up in the spring, I don't put fresh gas on top of water. Alright, so I cleaned things up a little bit. Not great, I mean, I just put things together. Let's see. One thing I was going to do first, I'll take these bolts out and make sure my gasket stays on the correct orientation. I don't think there is a right or wrong, but we're going to do it this way anyway. Just going to set this through here. And I'm sorry if the camera angle is weird on this. I'm using a little bit of different setup today, and I'm not really crazy about it. So I am not a YouTube pro. I just put things together. So one thing I was going to do is make sure that I measure the distance on this. I believe it was 11.75 millimeters of cable sticking out. Oops. Gotta get that lined up. Gotta spitball it for a moment here. Snug it down by hand. And do a quick set of my caliper for 11.75, 71 millimeters, something like that. How far off am I? Pretty darn close. Good enough for government work. Oops. Knocked my other camera over. So we'll snug this down. Sorry you're getting a view of my arm there. Snug that one down. Then we should be ready to put her back together, so to speak. So I gotta put one fuel line on here, the other down here. Before I do much of anything else, I wonder if there's fuel in it. I don't know if there's any by the pickup, so won't mess with it for this minute. All right, so get this out of here. I think it goes around this side. No, I think it should have been down through here. I'm gonna put the kill switch back together. So this just has a, what is that, a Phillips? Yeah, small Phillips. This will work. Not a great angle, especially with this in the way. That's good. So that is my kill switch. It goes that way, yep. And I already lost my gasket. Great. So this should fit there. Gasket will go on the back. It's a little bit fiddly, but not too bad. There's one side. and the other. Very good. I've decided I'm going to buy some long Torx bits for my drill. Make it a lot easier than this stupid thing. This was cheap, I bought it at Lowe's or Home Depot. I think one of the two was. It's a Husky, so it's probably a Home Depot special a few years ago. And again, don't know torque specs, but I don't want to strip anything out, of just snug them down. That works. That works. All right, we should be ready to go. My filter is a little bit oily, could be more. I suppose I'll put a little bit on that here next time I check it. Put on the air filter and we'll go outside and see if it works. It's looking like it's cross-threaded. I'll fix that right up. Alright, air filter goes that way. I see there's an offset to the screw hole locations that I wasn't aware of. Alright, let's go fire it up.